Hi everybody. I wanted to post this video because there have been a couple of questions about how to analyze data and what the 5-step process is that the rubric for the paper refers to. So I'm going to go through that a little bit just to kind of bring everybody up to speed real quick. If you have questions after watching this video, don't hesitate to reach out, okay? Here you can see from page 200 in Church and Wacklowski the 6-phase process for analyzing the data. The rubric for the paper calls it a 5-step process. And it calls it a 5-step process because we don't need to analyze, or to enter results from some sort of database. We have already got our results in a database, so we don't need to do this. So the first phase for us is data preparation. We are checking the data rather than chucking it for the following missing, incomplete, or partially completed responses, right? Duplicates from the same person, problematic or intentional response patterns where people are like just playing games and selecting all the same response, or they're making a picture, things like that, right? Incorrect use of scales. You can see this when people are consistently rating everything like bad and everything that you worded negatively good. And so you want to analyze that a little bit and make sure that the responses appear to be correct. You also want to make sure that if there's any inconsistencies with responses to similar questions, that's something that you want to think about, is about whether or not that response is valid or not. Damaged forms if you're using any sort of paper, or corrupted entries from malfunctions of computer or software problems. The next thing we want to look at is item level analysis. And so what we're doing there is we're looking at each question. And we're looking at each question and the results of each question. What's great about this is you don't have to do any kind of calculation for this in Qualtrics because they do it all for you. So you're looking at the number of people that responded to each item, so the percentages of people that said one way or the other, so how many men, how many women, how many years of experience at the basic level, at the senior level, things like that. You're looking for the means on anything with a scale. What is a standard deviation? What's the range on each of the responses? What's the lowest score, the highest score, right? And how many people chose not to respond to that question is also meaningful data. So the next thing we're going to look at is the conceptual level analysis. And this is where we connect our findings back to the model that we're working with in the first place. So what does your model say about the questions attributed to each aspect of that model? Are you upholding it, or are you flouting it in some way? And if you are, what is that telling you about the data that you've got? The next thing we're doing is comparative analysis. And in comparative analysis, we're looking at are there differences in responses based upon years of seniority in the organization, based upon age, based upon gender, based upon rank, based upon any number of factors. So you can do what's called a crosstab for that, and crosstabs are done in Qualtrics, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. Or you can also compare to year over year if you have previous data for this particular survey, or you could benchmark it against external data that you may have access to. And then the last thing that we want to look at is content analysis of write-in comments. So any kind of qualitative data that you've gotten. What does that content mean, and how did you analyze it? Typically what we do with content analysis is look at what the comment says, create a code, create a memo, and then do that with all of the comments, and then go back and try to winnow those number of codes down. And I'll show you an example of that in Microsoft Excel. Hold on. Okay, so say we have a question on our survey that asks people what they like for dessert. And so here's some comments that I just kind of whipped up. I like strawberry ice cream, I like chocolate ice cream, I like strawberry pie, I like chocolate mousse, I don't eat dessert, I like an after dinner drink. And so you could code this as ice cream, and this one is ice cream, and this one is pie, and this one is as mousse. See how it's similar types of things? no dessert. And this one is alcohol, right? Spell that correctly, that'd be good. Here you can see I filled in a memo on some of the other items, like why would a person not want to have dessert? Are they a dieter? Do they have diabetes? I'm speculating a little bit. I'm trying to understand a little bit about why that was written. Someone wants to drink alcohol, but we don't serve alcohol, so it's a different kind of request. And you can see I secondarily coded those things. And so you can now sort the data by both a primary code of ice cream or pie, or you can sort it by the secondary code, right? And to try and see the variety of features that come out, and then thematically whittle this down a little bit. So it looks like we've got a lot of stuff around pie, we've got a lot of stuff around ice cream, and then we have some outliers in terms of this dessert selection. And so the question is, how do you come up with a thematic approach with the data that you have? And so this is just a mechanism to do that. And lastly, in Qualtrics, if you are looking for some assistance from me, if you've got some questions or whatever about your results, I want to show you how you can allow me to have access to your survey. So this is just some old surveys that I have in my database. What you can do is like tab over here to these three dots, click on them, see where it says collaborate, click there, and then you just type my username or email, just so Deb or DORR at roosevelt.edu, and I will be able to get access to your data and take a look at it, and you can give me as many permissions or not permissions as you choose to do. And lastly, I wanted to show you a little bit about how to get your reports into a crosstab I mentioned before. So you can go up to reports, click there at the top, and you can see the report coming in. This is an old project that I was working on, but you can see, like here, my question was, are you over 18 years old or are you under? You can see the people where one person was under, and then most of the people, 78 of them, were over. Gosh, you can't even see the end of that tab. There we go. And you can see responses to all of the questions. Have you worked in a business that's not owned by your family? And, things like that. Okay, so I wanted to show you a quick process on how to do a crosstab if you wanted to do that in your work. So what you do is click on Data and Analysis. It's going to take a second for this to load, and okay, and then we click on crosstabs. And this is primarily a qualitative study that I did, so it's not as detailed or rich in the data that could be mined for a crosstab, but I'm going to show you real quick how to do one. So we're going to pick the banner across the top. We're going to do that with age, okay? And then we're going to pick, have you worked in an organization that was not owned by yourself or your family as the stub? And then we're going to scroll all the way down and click on Create Crosstab. And then we're going to see an awesome little thing pop up. Here you can see what is your age. So over the top is the banner, and then the stub is the side. You can say, have you worked in an organization? Yes, 76% said yes, and then only 2 said no, and no one is under 18 years of age in the survey. So you can see that how that can be kind of handy to compare data very quickly in your survey results. So I hope this was helpful. If people need help or you want me to support you in any way, please reach out. I want to make sure that you do well on your paper and that you have a full understanding of how to get the most out of your data. Okay? Have a great day, guys. Bye.